a tiny desk with a thud. "Let's do this," said Lars. Bill didn't feel calm. Bill felt scared. This was their 5th patrol together. During that time, Bill and Lars had decoded dozens of EAMs, real and simulated, many garbled in ingenious ways. Over the last 2 days, a sequence of 4 EAMs had been received, each more concerning than the one preceding it. The most recent, received at 0512 that morning, had raised the level of readiness for nuclear war to DEFCON 2, which was only one step from launching missiles. The whole crew had been waiting for the next message, dreading it. And here it was. Bill pushed the fear to one side and started decoding the string of 4-letter groups. This message wasn't garbled. This message was very clear. Lars glanced up at Bill. Holy shit. Bill closed his eyes and nodded. Bill had no time to think about the decoded message in his hand. He had trained for this. He knew what to do. Followed by Lars, Bill carried the EAM through to the control room. The blood was thudding in his ears, and he was holding the scrap of paper so tightly it was shaking slightly, but he was careful to freeze the muscles in his face. Maybe he looked as calm as the rest of the crew. Maybe they were as scared as he was. He handed the message to the captain, who was waiting for him, a briefcase of top-secret launch manuals at his feet. "Captain," Bill began, uttering words he had used in training many times before. His voice sounded flat and surprisingly calm, at least to his own ears. "We have received a properly formatted message from the National Command Authority for Strategic Missile Launch." "I concur," said Lars next to him. Commander Driscoll was a short man with wavy iron-grey hair and round glasses. He exuded quiet authority. His voice, tinged with a slight Texan twang, was always measured and calm. He commanded with his eyes. They were blue, and by turns could be reassuring, inspiring, angry, or urgent. Now they were alert, expectant, ready for the message that he knew was coming. He reached out for it, reading it with the tall figure of Lieutenant Commander Robinson, the boat's executive officer, at his shoulder. Emergency Action Message. From National Military Command Center to USS Alexander Hamilton, SSBN 617. Subject: Nuclear Missile Launch. Single Integrated Operational Plan, SIOP, Execution. Remarks: 1. Set DEFCON 1. 2. Retarget and strike. 3. Immediate launch 3 Poseidon missile sorties. 4. Target package SLBM 36155-4. 5. Authentication: Echo Tango Tango Romeo Zulu Alpha Hotel. "I concur," said the XO. "Captain, request permission to authenticate," Bill asked. "Permission granted." Each stage of the process, from the initial receipt of the EAM to the eventual launch, was carefully scripted, with procedures that were spelled out in checklists and orange folders marked top secret. Procedures that had been refined over the years to ensure that there were always at least 2 officers involved at each stage, or, in the case of the launch order itself, 4. The crew knew each stage intimately, but part of the procedure was that the checklists had to be followed to the letter. Nothing could be assumed. Nothing could be skipped. The next stage of the process required an authentication code on the message to be compared to a code printed on a card locked deep inside 2 safes on the submarine. This was to ensure that the message had really come from National Military Command Center, and not some maniac with a desire to start a nuclear war. The safes were back in OPCON. Lars opened the outer safe.